Sometimes the truth isn't hiding. It's just sitting in plain sight, waiting for people to finally pay attention. And now, with Diddy's trial in full swing, people are starting to see the whole picture. Because this isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about the powerful hands that guided him, protected him, and maybe even taught him everything he knows. And at the center of all that, Clive Davis. For years, Clive was seen as the man who built legends. Whitney Houston, Usher, Alicia Keys. The music genius in a crisp suit, flashing smiles at award shows, always just outside the spotlight. But what if all that polish was just a cover? What if the man who made the stars also helped shape the system that nearly broke them? It all begins with Diddy. His trial started like any other high-profile case. Lots of headlines, camera flashes, and a mountain of legal documents. But then came the testimonies. Witnesses talking about what they saw, what they heard, and what they were part of. And it wasn't just about parties or music deals. They described something deeper, darker, a network of power and control that stretched back years. One of the first bombshells came from Dawn Richard. She said Usher and Ne-Yo were both there the night Diddy hurt Cassie. That wasn't just a rumor. That came from someone who was in the room. And suddenly, names like Usher and even Jimmy Iovine weren't just on records. They were in court documents. People were shocked, but not surprised. Because for years, whispers followed Diddy's crew. Whispers about locked hotel rooms and things too strange to be made up. But if you really want to understand how deep this goes, you have to go back, way back. Before Diddy was the mogul. Before Usher was the superstar. Back when Clive Davis was the kingmaker pulling the strings. See, it was Clive who spotted a young Diddy and brought him into the inner circle. It was Clive who placed his bets on Usher at just 13 years old. And it was Clive who connected the two. That's how Usher ended up living in Diddy's mansion as a young teen. Not just visiting, living there. No parents, no real supervision. Just a 13-year-old boy from Atlanta suddenly thrown into a new world filled with wild parties, grown adults, champagne, and private rooms. Usher never gave details, but the look on his face in interviews said enough. He called it overwhelming. He said he saw things he didn't understand. He always promised to write about it in a book one day. But that day never came. People thought he was just being private. But now it looks more like protection, like survival. Because maybe what he saw wasn't just wild behavior, it was something much worse. Something you don't just talk about on a morning show or podcast. Clive Davis never commented on what happened inside Diddy's home. He didn't have to. He was never in the spotlight, but he was always close enough to know. And that's what makes people nervous now. Because if he knew and did nothing, what does that make him? A bystander? Or something else entirely? The connection didn't stop with Usher. Years later, Usher took on a mentorship role himself. And the artist he chose to guide? A teenage Justin Bieber. A kid with a dream and no idea what kind of world he was walking into. And guess where Usher sent him? Straight to Diddy. There's actual video of Diddy saying, "Justin's with me for 48 hours. It's gonna be wild."
You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, where we hanging out.
And Justin, barely 15, laughing like it was a fun summer trip. No parents, no management, just Diddy. And the internet never forgot that clip. Even back then, people raised eyebrows. But now it feels like a warning sign everyone ignored. And the person who made that connection? Usher. Jaguar Wright, a former industry insider, didn't hold back. She claimed Usher didn't just mentor Bieber, he handed him over. Said he knew what Diddy was about. Said he was part of the cycle now. And that's when things started to feel less like a coincidence and more like a pattern. See, this isn't just a story about Diddy being reckless. It's about how power moves through people. How trauma doesn't just disappear, it gets passed on. Usher might have been a victim, but then he became the mentor, and the circle continued. And while all of this plays out in the public eye, Clive Davis keeps his distance, like always. But his name still floats in the background, especially when people start talking about Whitney Houston, because if anyone was Clive's shining star, it was Whitney. And when she passed away in that hotel bathtub just hours before Clive's annual pre-Grammy party, he didn't cancel it. He didn't even pause. He kept the music going, the lights flashing, while Whitney's body was still upstairs. Chaka Khan went on TV and called it what it was: insane. But Clive walked away untouched. Again. No questions, no accountability, just praise for being a music icon. And the stories surrounding Whitney? They were brushed off. Her problems were labeled as personal. People said she had demons. But maybe those demons didn't come from nowhere. Maybe they were fed, protected, enabled. Some insiders believe Clive had a hand in that too. Not directly, but by allowing it, turning a blind eye while people spiraled. And once again, Diddy's name shows up in the same sentences. Rumors say he helped keep Whitney quiet, kept her sedated. And if that's true, who taught him to play that game? It's not just Whitney either. There are whispers about other artists, about secret tapes, strange parties, and hotel rooms with hidden cameras, about control and silence. And now that federal agents have raided Diddy's properties and collected actual evidence, those whispers are getting louder. If any of that footage shows Usher or Bieber or anyone else connected to Clive or Diddy, it's not just bad press. It's something criminal, something that could tear down everything. And then there's the health allegations. Multiple women have accused Usher of passing on STDs without telling them. Lawsuits have been filed. Settlements have happened. One case even confirmed it. And suddenly, his silence about those early years makes more sense. The way he dodges questions, the way he avoids detail, like he's still carrying something he can't shake off. And what if that something was passed down too? From Clive to Diddy, from Diddy to Usher, from Usher to Bieber. A chain of control dressed up as mentorship, a system built to protect the powerful and silence the rest. The deeper investigators dig, the more names come up, the more timelines begin to match, the more disturbing it all becomes. And that's why people are finally starting to ask real questions. Because if even half of what's being said is true, this isn't just about a few bad choices. This is about a system that was built to do exactly this: quiet the weak, empower the untouchable. So what happens if the truth really does come out? If tapes surface? If names are named? If charges are filed? Then it won't just be Diddy on trial. It'll be the whole machine. The industry that hid behind awards and bright lights while dark things happened behind closed doors. And Clive Davis? He won't be able to smile it away anymore. Because the more this web unravels, the clearer it gets. This wasn't random. This wasn't just a few bad apples. This was a blueprint, one designed to protect the powerful, even if it cost others everything.